Hi, it's Clara, staying by your side with songs and words. Today, I'd like to talk about the difficulty of self-understanding. These days, self-understanding has become quite a trend. It sounds like a big concept, but there are many casual ways people explore it. Personality tests like MBTI, body type analysis, and more. Also, as awareness of neurodiversity spreads, I feel that many people, diagnosed or not, are staring to think, I want to understand my own traits and live in a way that suits me. So today, I want to think about why self understanding is difficult. In particular, I'll focus on two reasons: biased perspectives and too many factors involved. The first reason is biased perspectives. At first glance, it seems like the person who knows you best is yourself. But in reality, there are many aspects you simply can't see on your own. Have you ever put a kind of curse on yourself? I'm bad at drawing. I'm too emotional. I'm not good at games. Like that. Maybe those things are partly true, or maybe someone told you that once, but sometimes we keep repeating those words to ourselves more than necessary. For example, the other day I tried something called the Honda Cognitive Type Test that I found on Twitter. It measures how your brain prefers to process information, such as whether you learn better by reading, by listening, or by visualizing things. There's a free version where you just answer questions, and a paid version where you actually solve problems to get a more detailed result. I tried both. Here's the result of the free version first. My top category was the dictionary type, meaning I understand things best through text. And the point was 74, maybe out of 100. The free version doesn't show scores for other categories like 3D or sound, so that's all I knew at first. Then I took the paid version. Again, dictionary type came out on top, but the score was lower than before, and I also had decent scores for fantasy and radio. When I saw that, I thought, wow, I've been really stuck in my own assumptions. Here's why. The free version only asks about my subjective impressions. Questions like, which way do you prefer to learn? And since I've always thought I like reading, I'm bad with visuals, I learn best from text. Of course, I answered accordingly. So it's no surprise that I got the dictionary type. But maybe that's just a self-fulfilling belief. I do believe I'm the dictionary type, so I answer that way, and then the result confirms it, strengthening that belief even more. As a result, I might have been narrowing my own possibilities without realizing it. On the other hand, the paid version includes actual problem solving, so it reflects not just self perception, but also some objective data. It showed that while dictionary is my strongest trait, it's not the only one. This experience made me realize we can't fully understand our own traits just by thinking about them in our head. We're all limited by our own point of view, and sometimes we convince ourselves too strongly of what we are good or bad at. The same goes for how we see others. For instance, you might think, I'm terrible at drawing, everyone else is so good. But that's partly because people who aren't confident in their art don't usually open it. So what you see is only the best examples. You end up comparing yourself to filtered world and believing you're worse than you really are. That's why it's hard to notice the colored glasses we're wearing. Listening to others' opinions from time to time and taking them in with balance is really important. The second difficulty is the too many factors that shape our behavior and experiences. For example, I've spent the past few years thinking I can't read books anymore. As a child, I was a total bookworm. I would read whenever I had free time, but in recent years, I just couldn't seem to focus. People often say things like, Gen Z can't read long books or watch long movies anymore because of short form videos. How sad. And honestly, I agreed. I would lose focus after 30 seconds on a difficult book. I could manage short stories but not long novels. However, because of my work schedule, there was a month when I suddenly had more free time. So I decided, let's use this time to read again. Surprisingly, I was able to read much more than I expected, sometimes even several books a day. That made me realize maybe I can't read doesn't necessarily mean I've lost focus. Being able to concentrate on reading depends on many factors, not just ability or willpower, but also environment, physical condition, and mental energy. Normally, I try to read after work or on weekends when I'm already tired. Of course, it's hard to focus then. And I've also realized I'm not a kind of person who studies well at home. Actually, during the 1 month period, I happened to have access to a calm, semi public space, quiet but not too lonely, and that turned out to be the perfect reading environment for me. So, through the experience, I learned I'm not unable to read. I just need the right conditions. With the right environment and enough time, I can still enjoy books. But if I hadn't noticed that, I might have kept telling myself, I just can't read anymore, and continued believing it. Before I wrap up, I'd like to mention something related the ideas of the medical model and the social model of disability. The medical model focuses on individual problems, seeing disability as something within a person that needs to be treated or fixed. In contrast, the social model sees disability as the result of barriers in society, things like the environment or social attitude that make life difficult for some people. I think self understanding is similar. When we say, I can't do this, or I'm not good at that, we often look only at ourselves. But sometimes it's not about who we are, it's about the circumstances we are in. Maybe the environment isn't right, or the support system isn't there. Recognizing that can help us live more comfortably and kindly toward ourselves. So, to sum up, understanding yourself is never simple. Our self perception can be biased, and there are countless factors that influence how we feel and act. But that's exactly why self understanding is so important. By noticing those biases and considering both internal and external factors, we can see ourselves more clearly and live a little more freely. On this channel, I share thoughts like this about mental health as well as singing cover videos. If you're interested, please subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. Bye!